Only because whatever I've seen there is the strongest halacha I could have written up. If I had all the rabbis got together in the world and said, this is a decision, a kotel, maybe mitzvah, this is exactly the same as what I've seen. So that's why, as far as this halacha goes, a kotel mitzvah, 4 kaddish, 4 baruch, 4 kriyas HaTorah, everything else can be used as one of the 10 of the minyan. We'll discuss the union of kaddish minyan more in detail tomorrow. So you need 10 for minyan. 10 has to be gedegel. Gedegel means one who's past 13. And this says, when does a boy become 13? On his 13th birthday, on the day of his 13th birthday, not the hour of his 13th birthday. For example, the boy was born say the 10th day of Nisan at 5 p.m. But he does not become 13 years later, the 10th of Nisan at 5 p.m. But 13 years later, when the 10th of Nisan begins, the evening before, at sundown, then he becomes 13. Even though there's still 20 hours missing to be exact, the exact moment of his birth. When the day begins, and his 13th birthday, that's when he becomes 13 legally, in all respects. In all respects means that he's then eligible to be testify as a witness. He's then responsible for all mitzvahs. He must fast. Let's say he was born on Yom Kippur. He was born at the afternoon of Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur comes the evening before, he has to fast already. And I tell you, of course he has. Of course the day begins from the time he is the day. Of course there's that son said that he goes to Shalosh Beisaris. But the example given now makes this point important. 2 ways. We have 12 months in the year, which correspond to the 12 tribes of Israel. It's from Nisan through Adar. Adar is the 12th month. There were 12 tribes of Israel. One of the tribes is supposed to get the birthright. Birthright, the means he's supposed to get double, Tishnei. And that one who got the birthright, it was taken from the Ume, it was given to Yosef HaTzadik. And therefore Yosef HaTzadik became divided into 2 tribes, Menashe and Ephraim, 2 of the 12 tribes. Maybe, of course, which we moved, he'd be using the Beis Mikdash. We then had 12, which became 13. Because Yosef HaTzadik was divided into 2. So because of this, the fact that there are 12 became 13, we have, to symbolize this, we have a 13th month, leap year, Adar. Adar becomes divided into 2. Adar, of course, stands for Yosef HaTzadik. Tzadik is Menachem operates many places. Tzadik is Dogim. Dog, fish, stands for Tzadik because the fish lives solely in the water. Tzadik can live in the waters of Torah, and many different reasons we don't know, but the Arizal sign, zodiac, so the Arizal Adar is Dogim, fish. That's why it stands for a month of Adar, where Yosef HaTzadik was given is twice, Adar Rishon, Adar Sheni. Now, if a boy, let's say, is born, the 2 boys born in a leap year. Leap year is called Hebrew Shana Miubes. Beres means filled, pregnant with months, additional month. Initially, there's 2 boys are born. One is born on the 20th of the first Adar. The second is born on the 19th of the second Adar. Which means that the second boy is a month younger than the first boy. Right? He's born just a month later, the 19th of the second Adar. 13 years later, it comes out that the 13th year is not a leap year. The leap years are approximately 2 out of 5 years, 7 out of 19. So 13 years later, the leap year is not, the 13th year is not a leap year, When it's not a leap year, there's only one Adar, that's it. So on that one Adar, there's a 19th and 20th day. The boy was born on the 19th day of Adar, second Adar. A month later, it's now a mitzvah on the 19th day of Adar, while the boy was born on the 20th of the first, there's a mitzvah on the 20th day of Adar, which means that the one that's born a month later is not a mitzvah a day earlier. Which is the fact there's only one Adar. Now the mitzvah means that he must start putting on tefillin. That's the one submission that we speak about bar mitzvah. The basic mitzvah, bar means responsible for a mitzvah. He's given a mitzvah additional to what he had before. Because before he was fasting, before the other mitzvah, he did every mitzvah, he kept Shabbos and so on. The important mitzvah that's added to his record now is the mitzvah of tefillin. From that day of the mitzvah, he is required to put on tefillin steadily. Of course, we start a few days earlier, weeks earlier, put on tefillin, but the kiruv, the absolute kiruv is in the day of the mitzvah. So we have a case here where if there was a Yerushalmi Vedas first, and then a Shulchan Pshuta, simply nothing yet, came out later on, we can have a boy born later, it should become a mitzvah earlier, and vice versa. This is what's meant by a minyan. You have 10 who are already a mitzvah in order to be able to perform any one of these things, the kaddish, the kedusha, the bachel, the esteemed, and so on. Now, in order to determine whether there are 10, a person cannot have a trained eye to look. Before you can say a kaddish, you have to see if there's a minyan, which means you have to count. And there is a din, clear din, isam, and atzeda, you're not allowed to count Jews. And when we had that, the story of David Melech, or counting Jews, the Chassidut will bring about a disease, a plague, strike them down. You're not allowed to count 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And that's why there are different methods that are used. The best method is that you have to have exactly 10. Count off till 10. You take a posek which has 10 words, you count with that posek. You don't say 1, 2, 3, 4. You say Shia, Es, Mecha, U'alef, Es, Mecha, Asecha, U'yim, and Aseim, Anta Elom. That's the accepted posek which has 10 words. If you see you have more, after that there's still people left. You know you have a million. You see it just fits. You see, if you get till Ad, and the Elom is missing, means that there's more missing for the million. Ad early, there's only 8 people left. You know how much more you need. Okay? So the only way you can count legally. Of course, the other way you count figures, yamagas, and so forth, but there's many other solutions to this problem. But the accepted universal solution is this one. The Shia Samecha is accepted throughout. This is the one that should be used. It should always, of course, not arise this problem. There should always be a minyan that comes on time. Since we always talk about minyan, let's just add this one single word. The Zaydik Kodesh says that minyan comes broken up, piece there, another piece, and so forth. This causes us to show displeasure in heaven. Hashem is displeased. Hashem says, when I created you, I didn't create first the hand and the leg and the other things, the eye and so forth. I made it all in one shot, one piece. Although I'm finished. You have to have a minyan before me, which constitutes the Elam, and let the Elam come. The minyan come at one time. Don't let them come. Late ones come straggling in leisurely after it's part of the minyan is there. We have to try to make the minyan on time, but when we set a time for it, it should be kept. There are, of course, extenuating circumstances sometimes, but still, let's try our best. Be here, it's more important not to frighten us. When you get frightened, as you see it's late, and there's only not a full minyan, you start to worry, will there be a minyan or not? To save that worry also is a big thing. It's presented to elements of Yahweh, Shmuel, and how about to the Skabbalah. says you're supposed to have a minyan of 10. Without the minyan of 10, you cannot do any damash kedusha. This minyan of 10 must be in one confinement, in one room. You cannot be spread apart in 2 different rooms, so that the trees plus the chassidut is part of them. 9 plus the chassidut. If they are partially, let's say 5 and 5, 5 in one room, 5 in the other, or even 9 in one room, and 1 outside of the room, even if the door is open, you can be standing right at the threshold, and you do not have a minyan. They cannot daven together as a minyan, because they are not considered as one. You can combine people on the outside and those on the inside. Even if the inside of the majority, outside or not, it makes no difference what combination you call it. So whenever you have to say, you can Kaddish alone. You want to say Kaddish in a room someplace, you got to make sure that the people who are standing outside, it happens very often, minyan has been exactly, then you don't realize that there's a person standing outside of the room. You check off, you see this tent, but you forget that there's right outside the door, he's standing, the door is open, you figure that he's in. He's not in, as long as it's outside the door, it's not inside, it's not part of it. Now, this is very different in a different halacha. If there's a minyan davening, and there's a person standing outside of the room, with the door closed, or with a space in between, he's in the next house. The next house, and he hears the minyan davening here, he can decide to the minyan. If you don't have a minyan, you cannot add 2 halves of a minyan from inside and outside. Once you have a minyan in a room, with anybody outside, you become attached to that minyan already. The minyan is complete. Then there's no wall that exists. There was an iron curtain between this minyan and the people on the outside. And the iron curtain that separates these from this minyan is called the Tefillah to Hashem, the Father in heaven. In order to separate from the Father in heaven, he's by an iron curtain. This is one of the strongest points that the Chassidus that the Russian Jews used always. In Mars and Spanish, this word iron curtain is a word being learned. Even an iron curtain that separates the Jews from their Father in heaven. So the Russians, with their iron curtain, do not keep the Jews away from Hashem. As we see that in oil, well, I'm sure there are so many that were religious to such an extent, to a tremendous extent. It's embarrassing for us that they, in their conditions, their state of imprisonment, are able to devote so much time to learning kind of davening, mikveh, his nefesh. You see the ones that come from Russia, those who are religious there, are ones that are far better than most of them here. Here means outside of Russia, you mean they still too. But this is the we did that if there's a minyan that anybody could listen, you could lose the next house, he could, of course he should go to shul, but if he can't, it's ill or something, he's confined, but he could stop it with the minyan. He hears the voice of the chazan clearly. One point though is that a person is not allowed to daven anywhere where there is any dirt around. There's dirt or leavings in the door and so on. So you gotta be careful to a person, let's say, is outside. You be kind of shlavona. Look around the ceiling, you're not close to any that is dirty. Or daven anywhere near Aruch Zohar, which means anywhere near a non-Jewish place of worship. Because then the tefillah is completely rejected. The tefillah doesn't count at all. Even together, he's davening. He realized later there was somebody there, he's got to daven over again. That's how serious that is. In a place which is lucky and clean, then he's certain that he's not into the kedusha of a minyan until he discovered. He says a person must listen very carefully to the words of the Kaddish. Listen carefully as they answer with peace, especially posek by Yesh Me'av, because this contains the Shemus Hakdashim, the highest Shemus Hakdashim, explaining the Tikuney Zohar, Arizal, take out and put them around, discussing this, what is the Kaddish? And it's understood that since Meshmei Damo is more important than answering Baruch, more important than answering Kedusha, the person has two Medyonim, and one is saying Baruch, the second is saying Meshmei Damo. You can only say one thing at a time. Which one is Shulchan, which one is Shneerson, Meshmei Damo, and Baruch. So first is every other Kedusha possible. Since that is such a high degree of Kedusha, imagine the Isur, not the Shalom, talking while a Kaddish is being said. You can't even answer anything else. First you can talk while the Kaddish is being said. It seems to people that how could it be so bad? How could it be such a big Isur? We see it being done in all the shuls. Most people see that they do. They talk to the Kaddish. You never saw a lightning bolt come aside to strike the place. That's serious. How come that it explodes? It's one of the questions asked the Halacha. Hashem shows a tremendous amount of patience. There's so much evil in the world now. There's so much crime, so much corruption, so much evil, maliciousness. And it's amazing that the world is still existing. The world is still standing. The world doesn't start spinning. She's trying to get the evil is trying to say the world is rotating. The world should turn over into its own grave from the sight of what's going on. So much evil, yet Hashem has patience. Until the time comes when suddenly the vengeance of Hashem will come out and destroy all evil. That's why never being phased, never being deterred by seeing that these visions are not abided by everywhere. We're not supposed to look at those who are doing wrong. Others do right, follow them, not to follow what they do says. So, during Kaddish, Hashem to speak. During Kaddish, to pay close attention. During Kaddish, the insinuation of all his power, all his power. All his prayer. Because it says there are exactly 28 letters in the first page for that one. 28 tough letters of prayer. The person who answers that with all his prayer, so anything created that against him for the whole lifespan of 70 years is ripped up. Of course, when there is a zayda, a hashis, it means that not that it has to become stronger. There's a weakening, but the goodness, the power of chesed in heaven. And this weakening means that the enough of like koyach, but no koyach, it has the necessary to overpower this hashis. The first nation of all his koyach, the whole koyach, and then he gives that koyach to the koyach in heaven. Then it strengthens, force, it's a combating force. The whole koyach, you might be a kid, in the power of force. Combat the kiruv in heaven. This is the greatest benefit a person can have. If you want to buy yourself a set of tools, shovels, spades, gather counters, go out and search for gold for your radio, go out and search for real treasure. Go find sunken treasures. Pick up, pull up a ship. A Spanish ship that sank 400 years ago with gold coins and so on. You find treasures. You spend a long, hard time investing. Here you have the gems, much greater gems right at your fingertips. Cheers, the initiation level, all personal, all kavana, right there, every single one becomes a gem that's so great, far greater than any treasure in the world. You have it so easy, it's so simple to get. Arizal said, one of the greatest words that Arizal said was that money, titles, are bad, and it's so, worth nothing. It's so difficult to get. How to pay the mitzvahs is so precious and it's so easy to get. Hashem did not make things difficult for us. He made it so simple. He didn't. Posek in Chumash says, Posek in Chumash after the Tzavik, says that Hashem says, I give you the Torah, I give you this life, I give you everything you did. You might say that Torah that has life in it. You might say that's too difficult to get because it's heaven. You got to cross the sea to get it. which was like Shemayim He, like the Ayam He, like the heaven, we have to climb, we have to say, who's up to the heaven to get it for us? You have to cross over the seas, over the storms. It's right there. Where's the Torah? Right in your mouth, in your heart. So a person should use all his koyach. Does not mean he has to scream, although saying it in a louder voice, a little louder than anything else, certainly is commendable. But all the stuff means all his chavruta. Concentrate, put power into it. And when he has the Yeshu Navot, there's a machlokes posting how much he should say. This machlokes, to each his own, according to the minute ritual. Yeshu Navot Yalam Yalam Maya, at the end of the posek. Yesh Mei Yavro, and Yishem Hashem Uvarach, Uvarach. Yolam Yalam Yalam Maya, please, Yaakov Yadeh. Aramaic translation. Well, that makes it better now. The fact that it comes out to a certain point. Our translation of the Shema translation. Yes, now, small sleep, and the Yeshu Committee. That's what makes the small sleep. It came off kiruv. Greater. He's also makes it greater than him. Makes it the greatest combination of names, the complete name of Hashem, the greatest combination possible is Hashem and kiruv. Hashem, Aleph Dalet, is a combination, it's so great, it's yichud, which is a chavruta, it's not the Amen. Yet the highest combination of Hashem and kiruv. Why? It's also because there you have, not just Hashem and kiruv, you have. Why is it higher than Hashem Amen? Because you have the same Amen, Hashem Amen, and you also have the Kesser, the crown, the Kesser Hashem Ekiyah. So you have the total of this is the combination of Raya Amen with Ekiyah. It's the next Shloshma. This is the Torah, the Yesh Ben Amen, right now. The rest of it, say that with prayer, say with Aharon, not thinking about the Shem, just so it's twice in Aharon. There, the end of that posek is Obe Olam Maya. So there are some close to saying you have to add Yisbarach. Olam Maya Yisbarach, that's where you stop. That's the majority of us. The Arizal says only until Olam Maya. Of course, we follow the other place condition. Together with Yisbarach. The Arizal says that you're supposed to say Yisbarach, Yishtabach until Tamid be Olam, all the way to Tamid be Olam, which is the same reason. The station of the 28 letters. The other Yisbarach is 28 words. That's the Arizal's psak, and that's what they try to do, right? That is going to be Olam. Our Minig. Really the island is to say it's only Yisbarach, all the way Yisbarach, and say it all in Chayach, and it's supposed to that cut, new cut, and Shemayim, is that the eternal Hashem will take us out of those,
This tape starts Wednesday, November 6, 1974. It is the mini shurim given by the Rebbe each morning after we finish davening. From the Shulchan Aruch.
First halacha, we have to clear up one important item. We said that Ikar Tefillah and Tzibur is davening Shema Esrei with the minyan, and saying Kriyat Shema too with the minyan. Ikar Tefillah means the Mina, Shema Esrei. Davening the Shema Esrei with the minyan, that counts more than all else. Kriyat Shema, you have to daven the minyan in order to get the Shema Kavah Missing. Person, that's a show, like then he should skip those parts that that are permitted to skip in order to catch up to the minyan. However, whatever is skipped before davening must be made up immediately after davening. You cannot leave it over for the afternoon or for later in the day, later in the AM. It should be made up right away after davening is over, as close to davening as possible. At least to try to do before breakfast. And not to say you eat breakfast at 1 o'clock. Before breakfast we nourished. Clean all those items that were left out, that were omitted because of one's negligence coming to the main of time. So you should be sure that you shouldn't leave it out entirely. Which is why we stress that you have to say Baruch Shama Yishtabach before davening. Always, you can't leave that out because that can never be made up. The person starts from the Yitzhak, which is wrong. You never make up Baruch Shama Yishtabach. It must be said before the davening itself. Now, after the Kriya Shema, between Kriya Shema and Shema Esrei, we have the point where this is still the third section of the Tefillah, the section of the throne, the world of the throne, which means that a person must sit during the sitting of this section. And at the words, the you get up. The word Tehillah must be said standing. From that point on, it must be said standing. Walk back 3 steps. Walking back 3 steps, and then walking in 3 steps at Baruch Hadash and Baal Yisrael means, symbolizing the fact that you are walking backwards out of the room or the shul place you're in this world. This is the lowest, the physical world. You walk back 3 steps when you're retreating, you're exiting, leaving this world. You walk in 3 steps, you're going into the new world of Atzilus. It's the highest of all worlds. That's above these. This means you're going right directly before the Kodesh Baruch Hu, the point that you're going to stand in front of him and speak to him. You must understand how careful a person must be then to concentrate his mind, to fill himself with the proper feeling of awe and respect. The word Baruch Atah Hashem Baal Yisrael, you notice there are some shuls who don't do it, but the correct way is to do it. We'll explain both sides of the issue. The Chazan says Baruch Atah Hashem, and drops his voice and does not say Go Al Yisrael loud. Why not? Because everywhere else, if you hear Kaddish, Bracha, Heshmi Rabbah, you can answer in the middle of wherever you are. That's how important Heshmi Rabbah is. Or in certain sections before that, like between Baruch Shema and Yishtabach, you hear any bracha at all, you can answer Amen. The more you advance, the less things you can answer, the more restricted you are. You can always answer Heshmi Rabbah. Between the words Go Al Yisrael and Hashem Sosai Tiftach, the Tefillah, you're not allowed to be nasik at all. There's no hefsek permissible there whatsoever. Impossible to say a word then. There must be an immediate kifus. Take it from Geula, Go Al Yisrael as Geula, Hashem Sosai Tiftach as Tefillah. Smichus, Gula, and Tefillah must be done as absolute. No hefsek in between. Therefore, the Chazan would say, Baruch Atah Hashem Baal Yisrael Adav, the person would inadvertently answer Amen. So, in order to avoid that, the person would think you have to answer Amen. In order to avoid that problem coming up at all, Chazan simply says, Baruch Atah Hashem Baal Yisrael low, silently. There's nobody they could be misled in answering Amen. Others say that this is the halacha that everybody knows. Therefore, you get people who come to shul, either they come to shul late, or people who are before. People stop sitting and learning, standing around. You have a chance to give them a bracha to answer Amen. Amen is a tremendous mitzvah. So why say it silently and deprive those people of a chance to answer Amen? Baruch Atah Hashem Baal Yisrael is a bracha. Give them a chance to answer Amen. Of course, one could say Well, if there's nobody else in the shul at the time, just the minyan itself. You don't say it out loud. You say it out loud. And that, of course, is very confusing. A person has to concentrate on what, where, when, and what. So it's better to always be consistent. Plus, that side maintains that even if there's nobody in shul outside of the minyan, even those in the minyan itself, there are some who are not up to the chazan. It's up before, where he could answer Amen, he's up to, let's say, Shina Chadasha, he can answer Amen, it's bracha. So therefore, the chazan should say it out loud. That's their opinion. The other opinion is the chazan should say it silently, because why should the chazan care to provide for those who are in the wrong, who came late, or those who are not part of the minyan, and thereby mislead, even accidentally mislead a person who will subconsciously, without thinking, he'll answer Amen, he'll answer Amen here, and thereby spoil his slicha, skill, and tefillah. So therefore, it is more advisable that the chazan says it silently, and no one can be mistakenly, accidentally answer Amen. That's the two sides, and of course, observe very carefully, childhood on. I've watched these Hagim, I've seen definitely a trend, much stronger trend by those who know, to say this silently, not to say out loud. In Israel, there's no proof. There are some Chazanim there too who say it out loud, and some will say it silently. But as I said, I've seen definitely that the better one of the two is to say it silently. Now, at this point, we go over to Elam HaAtzilus, the highest one of all. So it's important to notice that Arizal says, Arizal brings that as you transfer from one world to the next, there has to be some kind of a symbol, a sign of transferring. You transfer from Elam HaAtzilus to Elam HaYetzirah, the lowest, the next, which means from the brachas, the kavonas, Arizal L'Krimun, into Haidu, before Haidu there is a Kaddish. After Arizal L'Krimun there's a Kaddish Davon. This Kaddish shows the transition from lowest world to Elam HaYetzirah. Between Elam HaYetzirah and Elam HaBriyah, from the next one, means from Ishtabach into Yeser, again you have a Kaddish. Kaddish before Baruch. This Kaddish too shows a transition between Elam HaYetzirah, the world of the Torah, Elam HaBriyah. Between Elam HaBriyah and Elam HaYetzirah there's no Kaddish at all. It's this point, the Slicha, Skula, Tefillah, is so important that this itself is the Kaddish, this is the Kedusha. This is what's meant by the Kedusha itself. The fact that you put together, combine, you attach Skula and Tefillah, that's the biggest Kaddish, the biggest Kedusha. And then you go into the Shemashra itself, which we'll discuss tomorrow. Cover the four parts of the tefillah, what you are allowed to say in the middle of these four parts, when you're in the middle of them. In other words, what is not considered a hefsek, what's permitted, which Omeid or bracha is permitted to be answered, each part separately. First section, Elam HaAtzilus, starts from my table until Haidu, until the Kaddish before Haidu. In this part, you can answer everything, answer or talk. First, allowed to talk. Of course, talk in the middle of davening is a very bad crime. major crime. Mara warned against it. The Zaydik Kodesh says something very dangerous about it. But if necessary, you're allowed to talk. Say Halacha, for example. Have a shayla, ask, answer. You do not speak out till later. Except, of course, in the middle of the brachas. First, in the middle of the bracha, you're not allowed to say anything, not even amen. That's important. Because a bracha means whether you're beginning of the brachas, way at the beginning of davening, or whether you're saying a bracha at any time. Any kind of a bracha you say, in the middle of a bracha, you're not allowed to answer anything at all, not even amen. That's the first section of the tefillah. The second section, which starts from Chayda, which really starts with Baruch Shema. So until Baruch Shema, you're allowed to talk. Baruch Shema on Chayda was the introduction to the Elamai and Tzilah, to Torah. Baruch Shema, that bracha, starting that bracha itself, in the middle of the bracha itself, of course, Baruch Shema is a bracha to Machal. Bracha, you're not allowed to say anything, not even amen either. No kind of amen. But after that, there until the end of Yishtabach, you're allowed to answer amen. You're allowed to answer amen in any bracha. You're allowed to answer kedusha. You're allowed to answer Menachem Mendel Schneerson, the entire thing, entire paragraph, and the whole kedusha, like Dishach included. Go out, as we said, any bracha at all, except again the middle of Yishtabach, middle meaning for the beginning of the bracha, Baruch Atah Hashem Ken Melech Gadol, until Yachad Chayil Amen, then you cannot answer even amen. Now after the Baruch Hu, we come to Elul Hadriya, where most of the items now are illuminated. You cannot answer amen on any bracha either. Baruch Hu Shema, of course, you cannot answer even after Baruch Shema. Here you can answer Baruch Shema, you can answer amen any bracha except certain selected items. The bracha Yetzer B'Oides, you're allowed to answer amen. That's the one. But then, between, when you get the Yetzer B'Oides, so that right at that spot alone, get up to that spot, which means you have finished the bracha, you're allowed to answer any amen at all. Because in between the brachas, it's the same as between Baruch Shema Yishtabach. Whereas any place else, you're in the middle of a bracha, therefore you cannot answer amen at all. But this is how it's restricted with the rest of the items. In case of kedusha, you do not say Nagdishach Nanitzach at all. You just say 3 lines, some say it's only 2 lines. That's all. You don't say Lama Sam Shachim Yamim. And then Baruch Kvayt Hashem Kemay. That you can make your end, it's Machayis in that last line. But at most, these 3 lines and nothing else. Second, if the Chazan is saying Leidim, Machse Shusot Tzion, we answer Olein, then you say just 3 words, Leidim Anachnu Lach. That is all. You don't say the whole paragraph. Now, the third is Kaddish. The Kaddish, you cannot answer Amen for the beginning of the Kaddish. The only means Kadash Shmei Rabbi, you do not answer Amen. The only thing you're allowed to answer is, Amen, Yehi Shmei Rabbi Barach, the Oman, or the Omei Omaya Yisparach. From Amen to Yisparach. Then also, the Amen at the end of Namina, the Omwa, and the Amen. Into that paragraph. After that, the rest of the Kaddish Amen you cannot answer. The Skambel, the Eshel Nabla, the Shalom cannot be answered there. If you're in the middle of these brachas. Now, the end of this section, Gar Yisrael, if you're up to there, you're not supposed to answer anything. That's completely out. When you go into the Shemon Esrei, Yamida, from the moment you start, until you get to Eisa Shalom in the name of Yerushalmi, the end of Shemon Esrei, you cannot answer anything at all, period. Don't answer anything, except that there are 2 items that are that important. They could be participated in. One line, nothing else. One line, the Chazan gets up to Kaddish, and wherever you are in the middle of Shemini, you stop, and in your mind you think that line. You're not allowed to say it, in your mind you think Yesh Min Barach. Also, in Kedusha you may think just two lines now, Kadesh, 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 only Hil only in your mind you think it. But you're allowed to stop in the middle of Shemini, think those just three lines and nothing else in the middle of Shemini. Those three too, only thinking. But it means you may stop where you are. Don't continue to stop, you think it. When there's Kedusha being said, or Kaddish being said, you stop at those lines and go on further. And we'll continue with the dinim of the Shemona Esrei, Menachem Mendel Schneerson. It's a very important dinim of Shemona Esrei itself. How many brachas there are, what thoughts to have in mind for each bracha, and so on. Which means that to fulfill these mitzvahs properly. You said you walk back 3 steps. It's walking out of where you are. You walk forward. That's the beginning of Shemona Esrei, in the highest of the Elonis. Before starting Shemona Esrei, we say Hashem Tzvosai Tiftach. The Gemara says that Nachman said today, that's between God Yisrael and Tefillah. This is part of Tefillah. Hashem Tzvosai Tiftach means that this is the key to our Tefillah is we cannot really daven unless Hashem provides us with words. In his holiness, Arizal says, when you come before Hashem in his holiness, you have to pour out your heart. You have problems, not the regular tools, your own problems. Speak about the problem that how difficult, especially the lame, the heart of flames of oil, the heart is stuffed up, the heart is stone. You got to break that stone, you make bits, stop it. You can't get yourself, you cannot arouse yourself to want to daven to Hashem with koyach, to put koyach into Teda, Tefillah, mitzvahs. Not only that, when it comes to this burden, you can't even speak to Hashem and tell him about it. You know your problems are so heavy that you can barely carry them. He says that you can't even speak to Hashem at all. It comes to this burden, so you fall asleep. Then I'll say that should be the key part of the burden. Hashem, look at me. I can't even talk to you. Help me. Open my mouth. That's the words here in Tefillah. Hashem is what I can talk. Hashem, I cannot open my mouth. Help us. But you, Tiftach, you open my mouth. Then my mouth will come forth with Tefillah, praise, and davening to you. That's the first key to Tefillah is to ask Hashem for the ability to be Yisrael. What is so important about that request? Because there's always that's the chadas that comes to a person. Chadas means that his mind wanders. The most important moment is mind wanders. To have here the most important part of the tefillah, he's saying such words, emotional words. Hashem, you are the creator of all. Hashem of our fathers, great, powerful, awesome, heavenly. And when the mind goes off with this belief, it's on the lowest level possible. And that's why you think it is be careful, it's chadas, the mind should not wander. But if the mind wanders, are you yet say with this tefillah? After all, if a person was standing in front of a king, and he was saying words to the king was listening. This person was pleading on his own behalf before the king. And then the person's mind wanted he had to speak different words altogether. Thinking about his troubles at home, or business, or cursing out somebody, and then probably he is saying these words. The king would have him beheaded immediately, remove this man's head forthwith. Now, speaking that to a king below, Yaakov by Hashem, kiruv, thinking that it's the same thing. Speaking to Hashem, suddenly your mind goes off into someplace else. Because your mind that Hashem is reading, your mind and heart is somewhere else. What kind of a feel is that? What kind of respect is that before the king? So the Sesach Hadas is dangerous. The person has to concentrate on the words he says. What if what if a person did have Sesach Hadas, he's very bad? Is a Yetzir, is he covered with the mitzvah Shemines? Does he have to daven Shemines over again? And then says, Halacha says that he does not have to daven over again. He did wrong, but it's too late. He's correct. You don't daven it over again. What then? In the Shemines you have 19 brachas. Shmona Esrei, translated means 18. There are 19 because they added one later on. You have to have later. Meanwhile, these 19 brachas, the first bracha starts in the Shmona Esrei. It ends with the word Baruch Atah Hashem Lokein Avraham. This is called the Brachas Avos. This first bracha, if the person's mind wandered, he didn't think what he was saying for the whole Shemines Esrei, then he doesn't have to repeat. The first bracha, if his mind wandered, then it says he does have to repeat. Basically. Because this first bracha, Brachas Avos, is a must. Very Kodesh, which is that too, there's a big must for concentration before Kavanah. You must have Kavanah this mitzvah. That's what the Shulchan said, Pastor. Now, more comes and says that it is true, that you have to repeat this. The Moshe says that the people have gotten so lax, and that far from the real true tefillah, that how could you penalize a person by telling him you didn't daven with kavanah, repeat this bracha again. What's the use repeating it again? The second time his mind will wander again. So where will it get you? And the third time too. You might get to one more line with concentration. Third line his mind will go off. There's no limit to this, therefore I must say that we do not force him to repeat this again. However, at least these words we can see, we can recognize the extreme vital importance of at least this first bracha. How can a person say that he doesn't have the power of concentration the entire Shemines Esrei? At least for the first bracha. Paul was once mentioned a story very recently, just before the summer, of a Rosh Yeshiva, a big rabbi, took his students once to the circus. And they asked him, what's with this circus business if we have to sit and learn? This is Bittul Torah. So he said, if I tell you to go to the circus, that's your mitzvah. Fine, glad. Took him to the circus, and he said, watch carefully. When they came out, he said, what did you observe? And they said, nothing. We saw different acts, tricks, and so on. He said, you didn't learn anything from that? You didn't learn any Torah from that? He said, how can we learn Torah from these acts? It was nice circus acts, but what Torah is there? He said, you haven't got the observing eye. But you observe the tightrope walker. When he walked above the arena, 8 stories up without a net below. You observe him? He said, yeah. All right, it's unusual. Fine, it's very big talent, and very risky. The guy took his life in his hands. But what's Torah there? He said, Torah there, Yerushalmi, is that this tightrope walker, his act lasted about 3 minutes, walking from one end of the arena to the other and back. It's just about 3 minutes. This character, if he would, for a second, let his mind wander, he would drop. He'd be dead. So he had to concentrate for those 3 minutes without the slightest drop of Sesach Hadas. Here's a man who could do it walking tightrope. This shows that it is possible to do it. You start Shemines Esrei, it takes you 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. It is possible to concentrate without your mind wandering off for a moment. Just prove to you that it's possible. Don't say it's impossible. Something about over it. You know, when you get your mind takes you off on a different tangent, here you have proof that it could be done. So, if, let's say, that's so hard, I don't want to do it, to concentrate. Who can excuse himself, who can find an excuse for the first bracha? So I'm looking at it on to. not to concentrate on this, especially which is included here. Next time we go to a little bit of the kavanas that the Arizal says, and which is not to be taken as kavanas of Kabbalah. You know, because the Nosson also gives us what kavanas to have in this bracha. With even if those who are opposed to having davening with kavanas Arizal, certainly in this bracha pays, because if you have to concentrate on that, you really can't want it anymore. You have a purpose, you need it. So at least this one bracha a person should concentrate on, plus at least they can't go through the whole semester with concentration. At least let him finish off each bracha. Baruch atah Hashem, Baruch atah Hashem, at least those last few words of bracha itself with concentration. Better, of course, than you can exactly go through the whole semester with kavanah. That's naturally the best in the entire tefillah. Exactly the true tefillah with kavanah. Maybe I'll spoke up. So that's what we said. Starts with Birkas Avos. Birkas Avos, which starts with the first words, Baruch atah Hashem. That's Baruch atah Hashem again, Avraham. Of all the Barachas in the Shemona Esrei, legally, this is the most important one. This is the one that, according to many posek, according to most posek, you're not yet seeing the entire Shemona Esrei unless you have kavanah by this one bracha at least. At least to start the words Baruch atah Hashem till here, have kavanah there. That you don't know the exact translation, but check it in English to know what you're saying. This is the bracha that speaks about the Avos, the fathers of the Jews. The Gemara says, no, the bracha begins with Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu Elokei V'Seinu, Hashem of our fathers, Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchak, Elokei Yaakov. Father, the Hashem of the three fathers of the Jews. Hashem said to Avraham Avinu, though this is a bracha for all three fathers of the Jews, but the main part, the chasima, the seal of the bracha, the end, Baruch atah Hashem, is b'cha chesed, with you, the seal will take place. You deserve to be the one to lead the fathers. Baruch atah Hashem, again, Avraham. There's a number of items here, but Rabbi Nachman said that we should not daven with kavanas Arizal, so we will not discuss the sweetest that are found in this bracha, which Rabbi Nachman does discuss. Second bracha, Ata Gibah, is called the bracha of Kiruv, Kriyas HaMesim. Begins with Ata Gibah. Ata Gibah Hashem is a special Shem. Shem Aleph Gimel. And in this bracha you have the tefillah for rain, because rain is so powerful an item. Remember, it's one of the three items that Hashem is the key to. Therefore, this is put into the bracha of Kriyas HaMesim, which is another one of the items Hashem is the key to. In the summertime you say Mered Atol, but if during the winter you say Mered Atol, you're still covered. In the summer, if you say Mashmaruch, you're not covered. You got to say Shemona over again. This is the one special item that's serious. There's another one later. The third bracha, Ata Kadosh, ends with Baruch atah Hashem Akel HaKadosh. This is the third one of the three brachas, and these three brachas are the opening to the Shemona Esrei, which means that every Shemona Esrei, bar none, throughout the year, has these three brachas to it. Then we come to the difference between each type of Shemona Esrei, each kind of event. During the week, the Shemona Esrei we're dealing with now has, in the one we say, has 19 brachas. 19 brachas, where originally this Shemona Esrei should have been 17. The Medrash says, the Humah say, Kach Toiv, take that which is good and come before me, Hashem says. Toiv, good, the Gematria is 17. So, in other words, two brachas were added later. Es Semach David was added, that's one. And later in Yavneh, Alanu Ashinim Atahi Sikla. Tefillah to destroy, Alanu Ashinim means the Minim. We spoke about it yesterday, Shir. destroy, Hashem should wipe out the Midim, because they are that evil. They are the true enemies of the Jews. They are the source of all evil, because they're worse than a physical enemy. A physical enemy can drive a person only as far as death itself. That's a shame. It's that bad, but still, death itself to the body only, which means a very temporary death. The Midim, the Masisim, they tried to induce the false beliefs into a person, can literally destroy, rent apart the neshama, the soul of a person. And therefore they are the true enemies of the Jews. So even if they are among the Jews themselves, the posek is over Yad Hara Mikir Becha. You should destroy the evil, Mikir Becha, that's inside of you. You can have evil within you. Among the Jews there can be evil too, which must be Bi'ata, completely eradicated, wiped out. That's the 19th bracha. This we have a total of 19 brachas. And as we said, a person should try to concentrate at least on the Pedish Hamilas, translation of the words as he goes along. Try to daven Shemon Esrei with the knowledge of what you're saying, and a thought of whom you are saying it to. And it says if a person is stricken with a short-circuited mind, cannot concentrate that much, then at least the short words at the end of the paragraphs, he should be awake and think of Baruch Atah Hashem Chayin Hadaz, Baruch Atah Hashem Reisa V'Shua, these words at least at the end of the bracha. This is the minimum. Of course, a person should try. How much is the Shemon Esrei? After all, the Gemara says that the Chassidim Harishonim, the old days, the true Chassidim, the first Chassidim, that means the real first Breslov Chassidim, the Talmud Gemara, used to take an hour for a Shemon Esrei. It took them an hour to daven, and in order to have this hour with complete concentration, what did they do? They had first an hour Hezbollah. It means they would spell to Hashem in their own words, Hashem, help me that my tefillah should be good. And when they finished that hour, they started an hour of davening, and then the third hour of meditation, review over what they davened. Concentrate what they said to enable them for later on. The Gemara says that this 3 times a day they daven, there's 9 hours gone. So, okay, they didn't waste time on eating, on business. What happened to learning? 9 hours of the day is their mitzvah to sit down and study Torah. You spend 9 hours a day davening, have very little time to learn. A good yeshiva boy, kollel boy, sits in the yeshiva, learns for 12 hours a day, 15 hours a day, some more. So they going to be spending 22 hours a day. If you can spend 9 hours on davening alone, where will you find time to learn? So the Gemara answers, this is the Gemara. It would look like this was taken out of a Breslov Sefer, the way it says. The Gemara says this. The person who davens with such kavanah, that his learning has a different power. He can learn in 1 hour, but it takes another person 6 hours time to struggle on. He can accomplish in an hour of Torah, both in volume and in quality, in depth. A different person has to struggle on for many, many times that much. Such is the power of tefillah. Tefillah opens the gates to Torah, opens the gates to heaven. This especially the tefillah of Shemon Esrei. The person should strive very hard to daven this with kavanah. It is one of the most difficult things, because Arizal says Tehillah is called as a tohala, malacha v'yosum tohala. Torah lamed. Arizal brings that the tefillah is specifically, the Torah means confusion. There's no place more where a person's mind becomes confused with outside thoughts, insidious, than in the Shemon Esrei. All the things come surging forward. They all combine, unite. All the outside thoughts, everything, every problem a person has, enters into his mind at the time of Shemon Esrei. So smoothly, they come flying in at jet speed.